I'm delighted to say being joined by Russell Tovey. Hello, Russell. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Simon. It's a real privilege to be talking to you.
Actor, podcast presenter, fine art collector. In the right order? More of an art collector or more of an actor?
I think actor's number one for sure. That's been my main drive my whole life. Art has come into art has been with me from a kid, from loving cartoons, and then from the young British artist movement when I was around 16 and hearing people that sounded like me and feeling like the art world was suddenly inviting me into it, because before that I felt very alienated by it. But art has been with me, but acting has been my main sort of pleasure and drive.
It's given you an extravagant backdrop as well. What is the painting that's behind your head?
This is a painting by Doron Langberg, who's a Brooklyn-based young queer artist who I've been a fan of for many years now. Since about 2019, 2018, I discovered him, and he's a brilliant, brilliant painter. And he's actually painted a portrait of me, which now hangs in the National Portrait Gallery. So I have a real, love, and we've got a great friendship.
How about that? That's what you're hanging in the National Portrait Gallery.
Oh yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I know.
That's amazing. So, Plainclothes is in cinema. Mark reviewed it a couple of weeks ago. He really likes the film. So that much has been established. Normally, we talk to people, ahead of release. So we already know that Mark is a fan of the show. Take us to the world of Plainclothes. We're in the 1990s. Explain where we are with this.
1997, upstate New York, in a town called Syracuse. There is a mall where there is a bathroom that's being frequented by men seeking the attention of other men. And these men start to be targeted in these entrapment situations and arrested and having their lives quietly ruined by the police. My character is someone who is very secretive. He comes along and I am a target, and suddenly the man played by Tom Blythe, who is entrapping me, develops feelings for me, and then this film ricochets off into somewhere unbeknownst to both of these characters and takes them places on their journey. I play a much older man called Andrew, and he's a younger man, and it's an intergenerational kind of conversation between these two men trying to navigate their way in a world that doesn't seem safe for them.
What's the relevance of the 1990s? So it's a period piece, but it's also very, very familiar to most people who are going to see it. What's the significance of that date?
This date's important to Carmen Emmy, who's a writer, director, first time, who's amazing. That year, he said, was when he started to police his feelings, where he started to understand that he was gay himself and what that felt like coming of age and of that kind of notion of knowing that about yourself at this time in history. And it's like only a year before, in 1998, we had George Michael was entrapped in the bathroom in LA. He also said it's because that's when the Titanic film came out, which is one of his favorite movies. So he has a lot of nostalgia for 97. But I think it's because of that period in history, and it's like post-AIDS or post-HIV, where there's a world where people have the knowledge of what's happening, but yet it's still very prevalent and still an epidemic, and it's still a big worry for that time. And it's this sort of weird time, but we premiered a couple of weeks ago in New York, and at that time when we was making this film, we felt like it was a period piece and it felt like a historical document. And literally it came out in the news that police at Penn Station in New York were using apps to entrap men who were using these bathrooms, and 200 people have been arrested, many sent to ICE facilities without trial. And suddenly this film felt like it was incredibly contemporary, even though it's set in 97. And that's kind of terrifying in itself.
Yeah. Because in my ignorance, I was thinking that entrapment, the very word sounds like something from Oscar Wilde at times.
John Gielgud. And
yes, but you're saying in America, it's happening now.
Right now it's happening.
Is the UK better?
You know what? I mean, I hope we are, but who knows? Everything's so up in the air, and it seems like the UK follows America. And I really hope to God that we have more sort of protection of rights and liberties here for all, like queer people, but it's who knows what's happening. Everything's so up in the air, isn't it, Simon? Everything's terribly scary, and all we've got to do is hold on to hope that no feeling is finite, no decision is finite, and we're on this curve. And I hope that this curve, we are in darkness, we're going into darker times, but we have to come out the other side. Otherwise, what do we do?
Andrew, your character, tell us a bit more about him. Obviously, we're just talking about the first kind of heart. And I think it's sort of like in one of the early conversations that you had with Tom Blythe's character, I think you describe yourself as an administrator. Is that right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. I don't want to give you the reveal of Andrew is the beauty of this film. And you go on this journey with Lucas and his discovery of first time he's had these feelings for another man and his discovery of this character as well. But my character is, at a certain age, and it's, in 97, what was exciting about this for me is that in the 90s, it was a real eye-opening moment for me and of self-discovery and working out who I was. And now to be able to go back as a early 40s-year-old man and play the 90s again as someone who knows himself a lot better was a really rewarding thing. But this is a character who's not allowed himself to be the authentic version of himself because he's trapped by a society that's never really made him feel like he could be that person.